Hi, hello, it's Morgan. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm joined by Purrja.
Hi! Thanks for having me.
How exciting.
This is so exciting.
I know, to do drag with a real person in the same room. Yeah, we're going to get ready today to host my live show.
Yes, so exciting.
That's very fun.
It's my first time hosting with you.
And it's my first time hosting an online show with another person.
With someone else? Yeah.
You're so fun and easy to work with. It was like an obvious choice.
Likewise, yeah.
So what's the vibe going to be today, do you think?
So, I was thinking we could go for something quite 80s inspired. I tend to kind of go towards more punky looks. So let's go for some 80s blush and maybe neon and whatever else, big harsh liner.
Totally.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my brand anyway.
Yeah. Do you watch Drag Race?
Who doesn't?
It's bothered me, quite frankly. And I think like the UK one has been like such a breath of fresh air.
Agreed. And spoilers, we're going to talk about the finale if you haven't seen it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was surprised that Lawrence won, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about it.
No, same.
I think she deserved it.
Yeah.
Honestly, from the very beginning, I thought it was going to be Tace.
Okay.
And then that they made her work so hard by putting her in the bottom so many times, some of which were not justified, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder if was an aspect of like resentment from Rue towards Tace because she's so like young and beautiful and reminds her of herself and how she used to be.
That's an interesting concept.
That's a theory.
Yeah, for me it was Bimini. We're kind of like Insta friends, and
Cool.
we have been for like a year or so.
Name
like
drop.
kind of before she started doing Drag Race. So like, I think especially after like the 7-month break, like the glow up was pretty phenomenal. Did you ever apply for Drag Race UK?
You know, I've been thinking about it recently. I like whenever people would ask me if I would want to be on Drag Race, I would be like, no, definitely not. Actually, I was talking with FKA about how she applied a few years ago, and I was like, oh, you can apply as a British citizen even though you don't live there. And she was like, yeah, that was not a problem. Because I always assumed that they wouldn't want someone who doesn't live in the UK.
Oh, I thought that was an issue. Because I thought I heard that Giza applied and then didn't get on because she wasn't
Because she
based in
doesn't
the
live
UK.
there. That makes sense. So I don't want to live in the UK, so no. I mean, maybe it's possible in the future that my partner and I might live between here and the US. And then in that case, maybe I would apply.
Yeah.
I don't know. Watch out, Drag Race season 27.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's great that it exists, but it's also very problematic and
Yeah, I think it's quite exclusionary.
absolutely.
But having said that, yeah, I agree with you. Like, there's aspects of the show being so prominent on mainstream TV that is really important. My favorite part.
What are you doing?
I'm smashing my face with tapes.
You're 27-year-old?
27. No, it's really terrible because like when I first started doing this, obviously I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I look so snatched. And I have not been able to not do it ever since. So slightly problematic, but it is what it is. And I kind of enjoy it as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it brings me joy. I mean, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
You've also been doing drag for like 2.5 years now? Longer? 2 years? 2.5?
So my first stage performance was what, July 2018? So 3 years this summer.
Yeah, same with me.
How did you start doing drag?
So before I started doing drag, I was working in a pretty stressful environment. I worked in Soho House. The hours were so incredibly exhausting, and I had no time for myself. I was working, going home, sleeping, going back to work. So like it was pretty much like my life for a year. And after I quit, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something for me. Yeah, I'd always been just really fascinated and obsessed with drag, and I spent like 600 euros on like hair, makeup, wigs, whatever, like the base package thingy. I have no choice but to sit at home in my room for the next 2 months and just practice painting.
Oh wow, okay.
So that's what I did. And yeah, I went to a party. So Julia Davina was on the door and I rocked up and she was just like, who are you? And funnily enough, I had met her out of drag a few times before, like through these friends. So like we kind of knew each other. And I was like, my name's Purrja. And she was like, I've never seen you before. Like she was looking me up and down like this. And I was like, yeah, I've never been out before. This is my first outing.
Wow.
So Judy was like, kind of looking at me and I was like, it's Yusuf. She was like, what? Like grabbed onto me and was like, what? I was like, yeah, it's me. And she was like, oh my God, okay. You're performing next month at my show. Get ready, start preparing, start lip syncing, start rehearsing. I was like, okay.
How many layers do you do for brows?
4?
Oh wow.
Yeah. I have like, I think I probably have the thickest brows in Berlin.
Very.
And like my brows, like learning how to conceal them and hide them and smooth them has been like a journey in itself.
I bet.
I've tried every single product like known to the drag world. And I've settled back on Elmer's. I mean, for me, it works the best.
Yeah.
During the summer though, I find I have to use like Prozac sometimes.
Because you sweat.
Because I sweat quite a lot.
Do you remember that time we were performing at Tipsy Bay? I think you were hosting a show. It was the first time you hosted a show.
Yeah, oh my God, my
It was
face
like,
melted off.
and it was like 40 degrees.
Oh! Yeah, my face literally melted off.
Yeah. And I was there like, I don't sweat on my face.
Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe. Shut up.
just everywhere else.
Yeah. I kind of hate summer drag, to be honest.
No, to be honest, this summer, if still nothing opens up, I'm absolutely going to do a drag show on like Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There are many things I love about doing online shows, like having developed skills as a video editor. That's something I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
But it's actually been really fun.
Yeah.
Of course, like that's also part of the reason that I want to do drag is to bring people together.
Sure.
And entertain and get their reactions and see their joy.
I have dabbled in online shows, and while it's really not the same, like you do learn new skills. Moving digitally for me was kind of interesting because like I never kind of considered that would be an option, you know what I mean? Like making digital performances. And it's something that I quite enjoyed actually. But yeah, of course, it's really weird and like sobering to just like perform to a wall.
If you're like hosting a show, then like once the show is over, you just turn off the computer.
Just turn off the computer and then you're like,
sitting in your living room in your drag.
But recently, like I've been doing a lot of browless drag.
Yeah.
Just because, I love it because I just hate drawing on eyebrows.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying.
Life is too short for eyebrows.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's more and more fun. Like this, like I probably have the smallest forehead also in Berlin. Like so,
biggest brows, smallest forehead.
Biggest brows, smallest forehead, and it's quite challenging to do like eyebrows for my face because they do take up the whole entire forehead.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
It really is this much. Sorry about this part. I'm licking my glue stick, which is so gross, but really tough.
Get into it.
But she doesn't taste so bad either. It's meant for babies, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I've eaten about 4 full ones of these in my entire drag career. I tried to record a TikTok recently. It's not for me. I can't do it. No.
I was thinking
it took me 3 hours and I didn't get one. I didn't get it.
What have you been doing other than drag?
Actually, recently I started a music production workshop. Yeah, I guess like my one big goal for this year is I want to release like some music through Purrja, actually, with an accompanying like visual kind of side as well. Kind of like a visual EP. It's like my dream. You're doing a big eyeliner, neon work.
I mean, that's always what I do.
Because it's funny, like when you're first doing makeup and like you're trying all these things, like I of course did like a Violet Chachki tutorial with her like little dainty wing. And I looked crazy. It just looked ridiculous. And then that was the moment where I was like, okay, like you really have to like adapt these looks onto your own face and like figure out your own proportions. Do you keep up to date with like new music and things? Do you like music?
No.
There was a point in my life where I kind of like was following Lady Gaga around Europe and
oh wow. You mean like literally going to all of her tours?
I mean, I went to all of the ones that happened in Dublin.
Okay.
And I went to see her in London. But yeah, I was like a huge Lady Gaga fan ever since I discovered her, basically. I've always just been really obsessed with like female artists and I listen to mainly female music. Quite frankly.
I mean, yeah, same. Are these shapes like symmetrical?
Maybe this needs to go a tiny bit higher.
So you grew up in suburban Dublin?
No, actually, I grew up in the Midlands of Ireland, in the country.
Okay.
And I moved to Dublin when I was 17 for university.
How was it growing up there as a queer kid?
I was queer, but I was also brown, which was really strange because my whole family were white. I mean, my mother's from Ireland, so she's white, obviously.
Okay.
And my father's he's from Bahrain, so he's Arab and isn't white. And yeah, growing up, I mean, it was strange because in my eyes, I wasn't different to anybody else.
Sure.
Because I'd lived in Ireland since I was 5. So like all I knew about myself was that I was Irish. And then I was meeting people that would kind of, you know, mock me or basically say that I wasn't Irish or something like this. And that was my first experience with thinking like, oh, maybe, why am I different, you know? I thought I was just the same as everybody else.
Right. So you have someone in Berlin who I think of, like in the drag community, who has done like a very broad range of stuff with your drag. You've done like, I mean, obviously live performances and hosting shows, but also like you've done like fashion shoots and like runway style events, right?
Yeah.
What's some of the things you're most proud of doing with your drag?
So for me, I mean, like maybe you can relate. Like I don't come from a performance background. Like before I started doing drag, I never acted. I never did any kind of like dancing when I was younger or any kind of like performative thing.
Same.
And yeah, I guess like growing up, I was never like, my creativity was never something that was to be kind of explored or, you know, I was never urged to do creative things, for example, by my mum or my parents. I guess discovering drag and like finding that creative side of myself has been really rewarding for me. And I've like, since I was a child, I've always been obsessed with fashion and music and runways and all that kind of stuff. So I guess, yeah, the stuff that I'm really proud of at the moment would be kind of like doing some of those fashion things, like this, the campaign I did for Klarna, an indie magazine.
Oh yeah.
that was kind of big for me because it was like, my goal is to kind of infiltrate fashion spaces with my drag. As someone who really loves fashion and has kind of like watched countless fashion shows, I know that I'm not a model. And I know that my drag in all its hairiness is also not something that is to be admired in the fashion community, or in the fashion world. It's inspiring to kind of like feel like my body is kind of, you know, represented in these spaces. And for a really long time, I guess I was really conscious of my body hair and conscious of my body. And I mean, having said that, doing drag has made me really, you know, connect with my actual body a lot more than I did before. I used to hate it. And now I don't hate it. I've always had this kind of thing of like, should I shave? Like, will I be like more popular, or will I be more, you know, accessible if I shave my body hair off? And I like the first time I did drag, I did that. I remember. Yeah. To say that I was like depressed for like a month afterwards would be an understatement. I was, I was really like really down. I'd lost all this hair that I like so deeply connected with like for a very long time. Ever since that moment, I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again. Like, good for you. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna just have my hair out and make it a part of my drag and have them eat it, as the kids would say. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah, that's something I really admire about you, actually. Yeah, hairy drag is something that is absolutely a thing, and it's definitely part of the community, but it's like so shunned. I mean, especially if we look at like RuPaul's Drag Race.
Of course.
Which for a lot of people is the gold standard of popular drag, mainstream drag.
Well, I mean, there's literally, especially on the US season, there is no representation of people who wear hair in their drag. And just even non-binary representation, you know? Like, drag is such a broad art form and so many different people do drag. And the fact that anyone can do it and it's not limited to any specific person or gender. I always go back to these like interviews with people where I watch them talking about representation, and it's such a poignant moment when you see yourself represented somewhere. Yeah. Especially on TV or like in movies or whatever, just in mainstream culture. I guess my kind of goal is to just kind of create drag that I don't see. Instead of agonizing over the fact that I don't look like everybody else, and my body's not the same as everybody else, and I'm hairy, like not like everybody else, and this and this and this. It's so complicated. You probably know yourself from doing drag. It opens up so many conversations with yourself about like gender and body and how you identify, and a lot of different things come up.
I found it actually very valuable to have those conversations with myself because it's given me clarity, which I think I wouldn't have got otherwise. And so I can now say I'm definitely cis. That's very clear to me. Yeah. And I think most cis people never have that moment in their life. Yeah. So
I agree. Yeah. Like I identify as cis and I'm very much aware of that, and that's something that I've learned over the last couple of years. But having said that, I mean, when I talk about myself in drag or when I'm speaking about about Purrja, my drag persona, I do think that Purrja is non-binary. Even though I myself am not non-binary, my drag persona is.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's exactly that. It's a persona.
It's a persona.
Like a character you've created.
Exactly. And I guess the fascinating thing is it's probably my way of exploring gender in that sense that I wouldn't be, you know, comfortable doing myself out of drag. Because I remember when I first came out to my mother as a drag queen, she was really upset. She thought that I was trans.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So she was like, "Oh, do you want to be a woman?" I said, "No, Mom, I really don't want to be a woman." Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with people who do want to be women and, you know, go on that journey of transitioning. Yeah. That's not my journey. Yeah. This is an art form for me. It's a way of expressing myself. It's a way of honoring the femininity that I've always felt that was inside me from a young age. Yeah. I can't wear green eyeshadow today, right?
Well,
I mean, it's fine. I'm not gonna.
I guess greens work for you, right?
I wear a lot of greens, yeah. And green is a color that I used to like hate growing up for some reason. When I started doing it in drag, I just loved it on my face and for makeup.
Sorry, I can't do it.
No, it's fine. Challenging me to do something new.
The judges want some versatility.
They do. Say a prayer to the drag gods that everything works out correctly today. In my next stage of my paint, I love the sound of a sponge beating a face.
Do you have like drag idols, like people who you love and enjoy and be inspired by?
Violet Chachki, for example, is one of the queens that I kind of resonated with from like a young age. And Char Noodles, like these were the two girls that I was kind of like, okay. I get a lot of inspiration from like musicians at the moment. Like I really love Arca. She's like a producer. Yeah. I really love Sabta Lisa. In terms of like a beauty person, like Amanda Lepore. Such an icon. Like she doesn't do what I do, and I don't do makeup like her, but just to see somebody who's so dedicated to like being glamorous. It's
Yeah.
just really like, at the moment I would say I'm very inspired by like 80s punk movements and Vivienne Westwood and that kind of thing, but it wasn't always that way. It kind of changes.
You use some fancy setting powder?
I use this RCMA no color powder. Is that how they do it on YouTube? You like playing with color in your makeup, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. Like when I first started doing drag, it was very like nudes and browns. And yeah, right? It's not fun.
There are definitely people who do makeup that's very nude and it looks great for them.
Yeah.
And I'm good for you.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm gonna wear makeup, I'm gonna wear makeup.
Yeah.
Like unnatural color.
Yeah.
About wearing a black t-shirt when you're powdering, it looks like you've just done a ton of cocaine.
I love when I start getting the headaches, like I'm doing something right. Yeah, astrology. Have you always been interested in it, or is this kind of like a newer thing that you like to explore?
As a teenager, I was like really into it, and I noticed that bringing it into my drag, people really responded to that.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's no one else doing like drag astrology, so I'm just kind of going with it. I mean, I'm not in any way an expert. I just investigate the things about it that I find interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Seeing how things work in cycles and like how there's all these forces around us of things that are totally out of our control, and they may or may not have an impact on us, but we can argue about whether or not astrology is real. Like, I don't necessarily have a strong opinion about that, but like even if it's not real, I find it kind of comforting to think of like how this thing is happening astrologically, and so that might make me feel this way.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I love it when we fill that liner in.
Work.
Yeah.
You have nailed the black eyeliner.
Yes.
Bless you. I used to always say bless you, like growing up. It was just like a thing that we always did. And then my ex, whenever like I would do it, he was just like, we don't bless anyone.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me
Yeah, I told you that. So since then I've been really like conscious of saying bless you to people.
I mean, now I think even in English I just say Gesundheit.
Gesundheit, yeah.
I used to live in Austria before I moved here.
Oh yeah.
And the common greeting is Grüß Gott.
Wow.
That just means hi.
Grüß Gott.
Yeah, like greet God.
Oh wow.
Hail God. One person who always watches my shows, which is really cute, is my friend Michael's mom.
Oh wow.
She lives in California. So it's like, it's gonna be the middle of the day for her.
Cute.
I actually messaged her because there's like a time difference, which is not the same as usual. I was like, hey Joanne, just so you know. She was like, yes, you're on my list of important things to do on Saturday.
Oh. And where does Michael live?
Down the street from you, actually.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever met him. When I did live shows, he was always doing the sound for me. He's like a little nerdy, skinny American guy. You've probably seen him on Grindr, if you...
Yeah, he's gay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm sure if he lives near me, then I'm sure it's
Exactly.
on Grindr.
Yeah, we met on Grindr actually, and his first question to me was, do you like Star Trek? And I was like, yes. He was hosting a Star Trek watching event.
Okay.
Watch episodes and then discuss them. And I've been doing that with him now for years.
Oh.
And we moved it 2 years ago to Tristeza. And then because of doing that, I asked Tristeza if they wanted a drag show.
Oh, so the Star Wars thing came first.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, sorry.
Yes.
I don't know the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. Do you hate Star Wars then?
No, I actually like both.
So my tapes fell off and they're not going to work. So I think I don't even need them because my makeup is so like swoopy up. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay, well I'll get let go of that dream for today then. Dream over there. Contour.
Yeah, I don't know if it's doing anything.
I can just hear it going.
I discovered this brush recently. I have like so many brushes that I don't use because
Yeah.
a friend of mine gave me. She studied as a makeup artist and then she like moved away and she gave me all the makeup stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I had all these things. I was like, I don't know how to use this, but I guess it's good.
It's like a double. It has like a double. It's called
Duo fiber.
duo fiber. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's just fluffy.
So what are your plans for after the lockdown?
Oh my god. I mean, before the second lockdown, I was actually in the middle of starting a drag brunch event.
Oh wow. Okay. Where would that be?
Well, I was talking to like 3 different locations at the time, but this was like end of October, so then beginning of November, of course, it suddenly shut, so that didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I had 3 different they were cafes basically. One was really tiny.
Okay.
With the corona restrictions, we could have had like 15 people, but I was still like absolutely able to do that.
Yeah.
Because like,
Quite cute.
I mean, I would also love to do more international performances. I want to continue doing YouTube because actually I love it.
How do you feel about this lash?
Oh yeah.
It's too big, no?
Is it? Is there such a thing as a too big lash in drag? I mean, you know the kind of lashes I wear, so I know what to speak.
Yeah, my plans for after, I don't really know. I mean, I'd like to continue performing. I have like some ideas for like some new shows that maybe I might start, or the music thing. I kind of want to like start you know, creating music and performing that, which I think it might be a new layer or something. I can't imagine how to conceptualize a live show anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm thinking about like a performance these days, it's like, oh, digital. And it's so much easier to maybe sometimes conceptualize that.
Yeah.
And obviously when things come back to normal, we'll all be back in the real space, the real world again. And I don't know if that's going to work.
I mean, why not like integrate them together?
Yeah, true.
Like having digital performance be part of the live show.
Yeah.
One thing I really love about doing online shows is connecting with performers from all over the world, like literally all over the world.
Yeah, and that's such a cool thing that you can do.
Yeah,
like it's actually incredible.
Yeah, I never would have had the experience of meeting all these people from like Australia and Chile and New York. Now I feel like I have a network who I know and would like invite me to their show if I was visiting their city, you know? This is not enough blush, right?
No.
Could I use some of your like neons?
Yeah.
So I'm dipping into pink lady.
Okay, I think this is too much blush though.
Is it though?
Yeah.
No.
My tiny face! Drowning.
We're just gonna be blush and an eye.
Literally blushing an eye. I feel like I'm like, my face is like diminishing now. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good.
Calm down.
That's really good. Almost there.
Are you doing fine with it?
Yes,
You've caved.
I couldn't do it. Do you make your lashes yourself?
No.
Where'd you get them from?
Brazil. Larry and I went to Brazil because he had a gig.
Okay.
We went to this drag show and the queens there made these lashes and sell them as their like side business.
Oh, so cool. I also reckon you could make those, no problem.
Probably. But there are some things in drag I'm just like, I'm too lazy.
I know, I'm the exact same.
Like wig styling. I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
learn how to do that. I'm just going to pay someone to do it for me. These lips feel so small. So tiny.
Dainty.
I think we're done.
Yeah, finally. We've made it.
I don't know how 80s this look is, but...
You look pretty 80s.
Yeah?
I don't. I'm pretty sure. You definitely fulfilled your blush promise, which I'm happy about. You look gorgeous.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah. Should we get dressed?
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be right back.
Ooh. Just got out of the shower, don't know about you.
You look great.
You look great.
Thank you.
I think we both look really punk.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was a good inspo.
Yeah, it was a good inspo. We made it work. Thanks for having me. It was so much fun.
Totally.
I loved it.
Yeah, thanks for doing it. It was really nice to do drag with you
Please
again.
don't let me back.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell the good people at home where they can find you on the internet, Purrja?
You can find me at Instagram at Purrja, Purrja. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hi, it's Morgan. I'm about to start my live show, Morgan's Drag Show for Quarantine People, in like 5 minutes on Twitch. The link is in my bio. And I have a very special guest host with me today.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. It's me, Purrja.
Freshly out of the shower.
Freshly out of the shower, freshly washed for all of you on Twitch.
So come join us. We'd love to see you there.
Bye.
That's cute. Yeah, that's great.
Tag me and I can just repost it before we do the show.
The link is in my bio.
Didn't see you there.